Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host, HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today, have you ever had a fever dream? One that you're not supposed you don't know what to make of it, but you try to talk about it with people and you don't know if they're gonna think you're nuts? Well, To Be Hero X is today's subject. This is not really an anime. I saw made in China, not Japan.
Yes, I believe they call it a donghua. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, but I believe that's what it's called. Yes. Yeah, I think this is our
Oh.
first Chinese show we've covered actually.
In recent memory, I don't recall ever in the past couple of years, but yeah, a history in the making, I suppose. And so, you know what? You suggested this. So why won't you go first? Well, how did you become aware of this?
So
What led to you watching it?
I saw it on Crunchyroll briefly, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna be interested in this because it's To Be Hero X. I was like, I've seen enough of the hero stuff. It's probably not gonna be my thing. I'm kind of done with the hero thing for a little while, right? And then I saw some
You
clips
mean
of it.
just to make sure you mean superheroes in
Yeah, the
general?
superhero thing in general. Yeah, like I'm kind of superheroed out, I will say, right? Or
Well,
at least me
superhero
personally.
fatigue is kind of a thing. Marvel, not Marvel. Yeah, I get you.
And then I saw some clips of the animation. Specifically, I believe I saw the clip of a clip of from Crunchyroll of the fight between Lin Ling and God Eye, and we'll get to that and cover it a bit more in detail. But I saw a clip of that, and I was like, wow. Uh, and just seeing, spoilers, the show will do transitions from time to time from CG to regular 2D animation. And I was just blown away
Mhm.
by it. And at that point, I was like, well, now I'm very interested. I have to see more of this. And so that's when I started sitting down and watching it. And I believe at that point in time, there were about, I want to say, 13 or 14 episodes released when I had seen that clip, I think,
Okay.
out of a total of 24 episodes. So I was like, well, and then I got into it and absolutely fell in love with it. And for me to say, hey, I do have superhero fatigue, I'm kind of like done with that. For me to say I fell in love with this, I think that says something personally, and we'll get to that. But yeah, like that's how I got into the show.
That's really interesting. So, to be fair, I haven't heard of this until Wolf told me, hey,
Uh
I have an idea for something we can cover. I think, like most anime we did, like
huh. Yeah, I'm the
90%.
resident weeb, I suppose.
Out of the 90% of the anime we covered was basically Wolf telling me, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "All right, let's give it a shot." And then we give it a shot. And sometimes I really like it. Sometimes I'm like, "The hell is wrong with this guy?" But
Fair, fair.
this is a case where so for the sake of it, not we are going to talk non-spoilers, and we'll let you know when we get to spoilers. But for
Hmm.
now, non-spoilery. I have no idea what to make of this one. I am like I think I liked some of it, but I also found a lot of it confusing. And to be fair, when I say no spoilery discussion, I'm not even sure what happened in this show, if I'm honest with you. I watched some pretty images. I think I got the general gist, but I don't know. Maybe it also just because real life can be a mess sometimes, and there was a lot going on in real life on my end. But
Mm.
it was I don't know. This was indeed a show of all time for me.
So I will say this one's interesting as well, right? Because and I can understand why someone might get a little bit confused because this show is told out of chronological order.
Which usually I don't have a problem with. I think though that what's going on here is that to me at least it wasn't necessarily clear on when it makes the jump.
Mm, I think I
You
see what
with
you
me?
mean. Yeah, no, I get you.
Hmm. So I think that confused me a bit, but you know what? So you like this show? You
Yes,
even
I
said a lot.
absolutely adored it, and I'm very much looking forward to part two.
Oh, there's a part two. Oh boy!
Yes, they
Oh my
do.
god!
So basically,
All
this
my
is
unanswered questions. So,
so this is season one slash part one, and there will be a part two, and then that's it. They're not going to do any more than that, as far as I'm aware. They're just
mhm.
it's set to be 48 episodes, and that's it. Which honestly,
Okay.
I'm also like I kind of enjoy that as well because like it has the story it wants to tell. It's going to tell that story, and then it's done. Right? We don't get too many shows like
Yeah,
that
I think
nowadays.
it is good that they at least know where they want to end, and it's not just gonna go on forever
Hmm.
or essentially just lose its way or something.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so you really like this show.
Hmm.
Explain to me why. I think I know why, but let me know. As
So
someone who is confused, tell me why. I'm
So
interested.
I personally really enjoy this show because one, I mean, I love the animation style changes and the sequences that it does that with. Like just switching from CG to 2D animation and it just looks
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous is just phenomenal. Number one. Number two,
that
like
I will agree with. That I will say, if there's anything that this show is well, it's the animation style. That's totally a compliment that I'm willing to give the show wholeheartedly.
mm. And even then, like even the CG doesn't look bad at any
No,
point
not at
either.
all.
Like,
Like I would even say it reminded me of Arcane at some points.
mm, I would agree. And like I know you hear anime and CG, and I know a lot of people will be like, because anime has had a lot of Eastern studios, I would say, have had issues with CG. We've seen that in the past from quite a few different animated
I
shows.
think wasn't you remember that Godzilla anime with its Singular Point? I think that had a lot of
Yes,
CG in it. That one wasn't terrible, but it did look sometimes a bit uncanny, I suppose.
no, I can show you some shit with CG. There's
Oh,
some
of
bad
course.
ones out there.
I'm just trying to compare it to something that I remember
Oh,
I saw. That's
there's what was the name of that show? Golden Kamui has a bear show up that is CG. It definitely stands out. That's what I'll say.
oh boy.
You can tell that it's a bear,
You can
but
okay if you can tell it, then you know what it accomplished that. There are some
I mean,
CG
yeah,
things that
this is
there are
true
some
also.
CG things out there where it's like, wait a minute, that's what it's supposed to be.
This is also true. But no, like so yeah, like CG, people hear anime and CG and they definitely go, eh. I think one of the few studios that have uh, surpassed that expectation, right, would be I believe Studio Orange because most of their stuff is CG and they do exceptionally well with it. But they are one of the exceptions so far, not the rule. Now, granted, it's gotten better over the years, but I think this is another exception to that rule, right? But yeah, like the animation is phenomenal. It's exceptionally well done. That's one reason why I fell in love with it. But the second reason is, as I stated, right? It to me this while on the surface, yeah, it's about superheroes. I personally don't feel it's about superheroes. I would argue that it's more so about because in this world, the way people get their powers right is basically by people believe in someone enough that they gain superpowers. Like,
Yeah.
and they gain other stuff from that as well. Like one of the heroes, Nice. People believe in him enough that and believe that he is the perfect hero and yada yada etc. And that he has developed obsessive compulsive disorder, right? Or that another hero who people believe in this show who they believe he's always going to stand strong and never falter and never fall down, right? To the point that the man can never sit down again. He can never bend his knees again. I fucking
Mhm.
love this idea. That is just so it's different and very weird, but I love the idea of that it kind of preys on it kind of praise, not the right word choice, but it focuses on this idea of what I would uh, uh, think of and what I would argue is fans and celebrities, whether it be
Mhm.
online celebrities or Hollywood celebrities, doesn't matter. Just celebrities in general and their
There's
fans.
definitely some social commentary here,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely, to me, it feels like it's commentating on that and how fans will believe a certain thing about celebrities and how that can directly influence a celebrity's life, and how if that celebrity ever goes against what fans would believe of them, well, then it hurts them, obviously.
Yeah.
And this show takes that to the extreme of, well, these celebrities gain powers from those fans believing certain things about them, and if they don't adhere to what the fans believe of them, it hurts them quite literally,
Mhm.
and they eventually potentially lose their powers.
Yeah, so you see, this is one of those things that I think I found interesting, really interesting.
Hmm.
That because let's say with superheroes, especially like I'm not sure how much it's relevant. Like I know some people would try to say that the Superman movie, which came out this year, had some political stuff in it, and
Hmm.
fair enough. But you know, usually I'm one of those people that doesn't really want to connect superheroes and politics. Sometimes it depends. It depends on it depends on the story.
Hmm.
Depends on what topic you're covering, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And so, so you know, it sometimes happens, right? I just brought up Superman. I think Captain America a lot of the time
Mm.
talks about politics. There's the Spider-Man comic about 9/11 that back in the day. Paul, you know, it's interesting when you can put a superhero in a political situation because that's where you can really challenge their morals. I would even say this is another part where the Supergirl show on CW kind of faltered. Sometimes succeeded, sometimes really missed the mark with.
Mm.
That you're trying to put a superhero in a political thing. So I think this was in so this personally was really interesting in my eyes because here the politics literally affect the heroes,
Yes.
right? This is something that you know the public appearance or how they react to certain points literally gives them the powers. It's not just a person with powers. The public image is what dictates the powers. I That's interesting. That's really cool on paper. The thing is, though, maybe it's just a bias thing or something, but isn't the point of a superhero that they just kind of have those powers and they do what they think is right with them? And however the public sees them is another obstacle entirely. To an extent, I get what they're trying to do. It's trying to play into something different with the genre. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think I fully got it that once they stop believing in a certain hero, that hero is just gone, no powers anymore. That's the end of it. That's the point where I'm starting. So I think I just started overthinking it because I'm like, well, wait a minute. If they don't like this superhero because they said or did something, and now that image is ruined, how does this apply to the other heroes whenever they break the pedestal, let's say?
That is
What dictates that?
that is something I'm curious to see if they'll cover in any way. If that is just something that is intrinsic to this world, or if there's something more going on there. Because I don't know if you noticed, but there are elements that they involve later on in this season, right, in the show, like very close
Mhm.
to the end, that I would say are definitely out there elements. Like it
Mhm.
gets a little bit weird at the end, right? I think we can all agree with that. It gets a little weird at the end, but like I'm here for its
Just at the
weirdness.
end, I think by the time we
Well,
get to the end, I'm enjoying the pretty images, buddy. I
during the
don't think I know
second
what happened in
during the second half, it definitely gets a little. It starts getting weird with things and certain elements it involves. So I'm very curious if it depending on what it touches on, if it'll touch on anything in regards to if people just gaining powers is intrinsic to this world, or if there's more going on there, right? And maybe they want to get back to the idea of like superheroes just being superheroes and not needing, people
because
believe in them to gain
because
powers.
doesn't it also kind of go against the name of it? The reason we call them superheroes is because they are heroes with superpowers. So it's not really a superhero if if the people watching the specific person dictate what this person does, right?
Well, I do
It
like
just
the idea that
it's kind of
they.
a,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I guess the one way to is that they're not necessarily super. They're kind of messiahs in this case
I
to a
mean,
degree.
uh, I mean, considering
Maybe
some elements
messiah.
within.
Maybe
No,
messiah is not the.
no,
Maybe
I
that's
think
not the right word.
I don't think that's a wrong word, considering one of the elements that's introduced later on in the second half.
Yeah, you see, I think that's kind of why it's in my mind because it's like, because like you said, it's more like, oh, they see this person as a strong person. That means, so that means they get strength. Like there's also like the not Hatsune Miku character that's there.
I love
You
that.
can you
No, she
tell
is
me that's
Lucky
not
Cyan. She is 100%
Hatsune.
Hatsune Miku stand-in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're just not the
basically,
first person who said that to me, and I just love that.
well, because that's the character
Oh,
design.
fair,
That's
fair,
just
fair,
that's
fair.
Hatsune Miku. But and also again, what's her deal is that she sings. It's like, so okay. Again, the power comes from, but but once let's say that she loses it, right? Does she lose it? I don't remember. Again, people, the past week has been weird. I'm not even sure what I saw. Okay, I
Hmm.
very this week we are bringing you the unprofessional part of unprofessional and debatably amusing.
I
I
mean,
don't. I'm trying really hard here, but anyway, so when she loses the power, it's like, so she can't sing anymore. That's again, it kind of feels like this gift and a burden thing that I wouldn't necessarily attribute to a superhero unless you're doing something deep, like I don't, like if you're talking about Superman's part in the world, or you're talking about Batman's internal angst or something. It's interesting. I just don't think it's developed enough. And it creates questions that while I'm watching the show, I can't really think about the story because I'm just thinking about this world and how exactly does it work if the definition of a superhero is different here.
I think that's a fair question, right? It's definitely something that, again, I'm curious if they'll go into in season two, or if it's just something that we're just supposed to accept. This is just a bit of the world, right? I think
Mhm.
it's fine either way, but I'd be curious to see if they're willing to explore it. I do agree with you. It can be confusing, but I don't know. To me, I love the idea, and again, that's why I've personally argued and will continue to argue. I don't really think it's about superheroes. I think it's
No, yeah, you're right there. It's not about the superheroes, which very fair. Again, like we said, there's more social commentary here about how we perceive not just heroes, but how we perceive celebrities, how we
mm.
perceived people. You
And the
know,
relationship
Mhm.
between them, right? And there's also
Yeah.
I feel like the show does a lot. There's also social commentary on the corporations that put these heroes forward, and how because of the systems, right, they're invested in making them famous and making them more popular to get more people to believe in them so they can sell more. So those corporations have to turn to making their own villains,
hmm
right? Which
And you
there's
see,
so much shit going on here.
there's so much shit going on here, but at the same time, and for the record, all you say, interesting stuff, great concept. I dig that it has another take on it. But the problem for me when the take is just not when the take is just not clear enough in terms of how you build this world, the more and more I'm just gonna realize that we've seen this thing before. We've seen like Spider-Man: Homecoming is essentially about this conflict. There are a lot of other stuff, not just superhero, but in general, that talk about the idea of the little guy versus the big guy, how corporations are essentially thriving because of the little guys, because of the suffer of the little guy, and how because heroes are so profitable, the corporations end up creating villains. We've seen these things before. It's not necessarily. It's trying to say something new. It does it in a new way, but because they did, I think they just had this really cool idea. They're like, let's make it so that the superheroes are determined by social media and public perception, which is cool. But they didn't think this idea through enough that when you really get down to it, we've seen this thing before. We've seen the message before in other superhero stuff, other fantasy stuff. So to me, that's kind of the problem for why I think that not building it enough kind of harms the show.
I would personally disagree with you and agree with you. I'm going to set the
Okay,
fence.
so you know what? Where do you disagree? Just
Well, yeah,
to because
what
I
I
think that's
disagree with
interesting
this
to
is
hear.
I don't think the issue is that we've seen it before or that it's not well thought out enough, right? I think the issue more so comes from the fact that it's not explored enough. I think if I walk
Yeah,
away telling you any particular criticism that I would have of this show, it's that they knew for a fact coming into it they were going to get 48 episodes and that's it. And that's fine. I'm perfectly happy with a show. This is how much time we've got. This is how much time we want to devote to the things within it. And this is the
mhm.
story we're going to cover. I like shows like that, that we know exactly where they're going to end and how they're going to end. End of discussion.
Okay.
I do think though that comes with a problem, and I'm going to point back to say Has Been Hotel. There was a
Mhm.
ton of stuff that we know that we've learned since season one, right? That Vivzy Pop wanted to cover in season one of that show, but realized, oh, we can't do all of that.
Mhm.
Fuck, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
basically. And I do think that might be a similar problem to this show, where I think there's a ton of stuff going on here, and there's a lot of things they want to cover, but they're not able to do all of it. So I think some things have to get I think some things had to be squished down to, and had less time devoted to them. Enough time to, here's the idea, you've got it now, let's move forward. And I think one of
Mhm.
those is the idea of heroes getting their power from social media, and this social commentary on the idea of, you know, how fans perceive celebrities, any given celebrity, right? In any given fan group. I think that's a very interesting concept that, let's be honest, you could devote an entire season to just exploring that alone. I mean, maybe not an entire
Definitely.
season, but you could devote quite a lot of episodes to just exploring that idea alone and the social commentary that involves within that, right? Let's be honest.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that'd be very engaging. But that is what it
Hmm.
is.
Definitely.
Here, instead, I would say you get maybe at best like the first 8 episodes, and that's probably being generous. I No, not even eight, like really seven that kind of like explore this concept to any kind of major level. And I would say
So
that's
it
not
kind
enough.
of goes back to what I said. I don't think the concept is developed enough for to because to for me to say, oh, this was something new. When essentially I got glimpses of something new. I got a cool concept they just didn't play enough with.
That's fair. And yeah, like that's basically my point. I don't, I think it could have been worked with a lot more. And it's probably one of my bigger criticisms from the show that I would say I have, is that there's this extremely cool concept within the show that I just don't think is explored enough. And I think they could have explored it more, and personally I would have been happy with it. With that said, I do think what they do explore is fine for the show they have created, right?
Hmm.
In so much as it gets the point across. It gets the idea across, and that's enough. Now, as we've heard from you, and I would agree to some degree, I think they could have done more with it, and I do think I would have liked if they did more with it. But at the end of the day, it didn't hurt my enjoyment of the show that they didn't, personally, at least for me.
Which is it's perfectly fine, right? I think this when you do something like this, which essentially brings in, for lack of a better term, political commentary into something like this, there's always going to be this, some people are going to like it more than others. Some people are going to be, some people are going to be more interested in this over that.
Mhm.
There's there's always going to be this kind the discussion of you either hate it or you love it,
Yeah,
right? So, so in a sense, the show kind of got what it wanted with us because you like it more, and I'm just kind of about it. Which, for the record, doesn't mean I hate it. Just me, there were just a lot of things that didn't necessarily click with me
that's fair.
because I'm just keep thinking about this concept and how the show tries to play it up as something big, but also it doesn't really do anything with it. So mm,
We definitely
it's
move
hard.
on from it very quickly because other things are going on that are within the terms of the show more important.
You know something weird comparison, but are you willing to hear me out?
Uh huh.
So, what's the first anime with the style of anime that we know? What is considered the Mickey Mouse of anime? Can you answer that question for me?
Can I answer that question? Fuck me.
It's Astro Boy.
Yeah, yeah, it's Astro Boy. I don't think anything came up
So
before that. No, yeah, it'd be Astro Boy.
that's at least the one that most people look at and are like, this defined how anime looks today. That's kind of defined the anime style. I talk about the original from 1963, not the other iterations are a different story. But you get what I mean.
Yeah,
And for the record, I'm talking as someone who loves Asteroid. Across most versions, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Asteroid, definitely. But the one thing that always kind of bothered me about it, and that's kind of the reason why I prefer the 2003 anime version of it to other iterations, is that the backstory is essentially that a kid died, so his scientist father brought him back as a robot. But then, because the robot didn't grow up, or didn't, or just the father just realized that he's a robot and would never actually replace the son, he sold the robot to the circus, and then we just kind of ignore that. It's not really coming back at all. Some iterations play with it more, but you get what I mean.
mhm.
and and that's something that always was always kind of like, this is a pretty tragic backstory. Like, there's a lot to this that you can say robot, they don't really have feelings. The entire Astro Boy mythos is essentially about that, right? But I'm also saying, no, there's like, how do you feel when you were created to replace someone and you just became your own person at the end of the day? There's a self-discovery thing here, which I think, again, later versions play more with.
Mhm.
But in terms of the original, I don't recall it ever sticking. Right? There
Yeah,
was no, they never really did anything with this backstory. It's just, I guess this is the backstory we came up with. Have at it. I think, weirdly enough, this kind of reminds me of it. That you have this idea, this world where superheroes are dictated by the public perception. Just think about the possibilities of what you can do with that, right? And it's just like, yeah, okay, we have this cool idea. Here are cool action sequences. Here's some stories about superheroes and supervillains fighting each other, and that's it. The cool concept we talked about is just kind of to the side now. Okay, I guess this is. It's annoying me that, because I want to like this show. Damn it, I really wanted to like it, but
that's
mm,
it's fair to it is a fair comparison, and I do agree with you. It is this concept that it's explored. You get a bit of it here or there, but it is ultimately like, well, you have it now. That's good enough. We're moving forward to explore more stuff that is ultimately, I would say, at least in terms of what the show's concerned with, more important to the plot as of right now.
Mhm.
Now, this could change once we get the second season. Like, they could come back to this and explore it far more, right? And it becomes more important to the plot itself as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we could come back saying something very different next season if we cover it. But
could be.
as of right now,
Also, one last thing I'll say before we jump into spoilers, even though maybe we already did do some spoilers. I don't know.
eh,
Sorry if yes, but uh, I think also one of the things I last week I played Dispatch. We not have you heard of it?
yes, I have heard and seen it. Yes.
So, but I think playing that and going through that, which is also a kind of a different take on superheroes and how they're
Hmm.
perceived in the public. I think when I went straight from this to that, that's probably the reason why the story and the setup just felt lackluster to me, because I think that game does not necessarily the same, right? It's doing something different with it, but
Yeah.
that felt a lot more fundamentally solid, probably. So maybe it's just dispatches on my mind when I was watching this. Maybe that's kind of impacting something.
It's
So
fair. And again, I think it does come down to personal preference as well, right? And
yeah,
what you gravitate towards more, right?
mhm,
As you've been
probably.
pretty clear, I think you do gravitate towards more like, this is a superhero. Okay, I understand that. Let's move forward. In this show, like you said, right, what makes a superhero isn't necessarily stock standard what you'd normally be used to, since
Again,
anyone
it's
can
that
be
I
a
just think the
superhero.
concept. Yeah, I just think that the concept is not necessarily fleshed out. And let's also spoilers from this point forward, in case it
Yeah,
wasn't
let's jump
obvious.
into
So
it. Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers for in 3, 2, 1. Still here. Okay, so the first episode literally starts with an ex superhero wanting to commit suicide because of what happened.
Yes. And we learn later exactly why he wants to commit suicide, but it's interesting though because I find it fascinating because again, he's nice. He's the hero, quote unquote, nice, right? And coming into it, you're like, what the fuck? And you kind of figure, okay, well, as you learn more about him, you're like, all right, he must have wanted to commit suicide because he's OCD and like he can't escape any of that. And as you start to learn more and more, you're like, holy fuck, it sucks to be a hero in this world because whatever people
Yeah.
believe about you, you can't do anything about. Like, we learn, I believe it's episode 4, like the no, not episode 4, episode 3, like a particular hero, Firm Man. The dude cannot
Mhm.
sit down. He cannot bend his knees. Guy can't has to
Yeah.
sleep standing up because people believe that he will never falter, that he will never fall, that he will never bend. That's why he's called
Mhm.
Firm Man, right? It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
It- you see, I agree with you. It's fascinating. It's so interesting. But then I also have to ask what dictates what a superhero is, because if the public determines it, then what, let's say, stops anyone from, let's assume we are in that universe. The Outcast is a thing in that universe. And people say, well, HC is a blubbermouth, so that means my superpower is talking all the time and tiring people out, while they think that your superpower is, I don't know, diplomacy. I don't know.
Well, I
Let's
mean,
go with that.
well, I don't see, that's the interesting part because they don't, again, and this is where I agree with you at. There's nothing explained. Like, nice can fly. Why?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
there
don't
you go.
know.
So
He just
that's the
can't.
thing. But then people just decide, oh, he's not nice anymore. It's like, oh, okay. So it's like, again. So is it like, let's assume I just think, you know what? I don't agree with what Superman is doing. Is Superman going to lose his powers? Is the sun going to cease to be? Is this how it goes? What? You see what I mean?
No, I fully get you and I agree with it, but I just I don't know. I'm not bothered by that. Like, I kind of just, I'm willing to take that for granted because I do feel like personally I don't know. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief in that regard simply because I'm fascinated by all the other ideas it puts forward. But you are
Which is
right.
fair.
Like, there is a question there of, like, why does Nice have super strength and can fly? Like, the show doesn't necessarily explain that. It just, he's a hero. People believe he's a hero. So these are the powers he gained from that. But also, people believe, like, another instance, right, is that him and this other character, Moon, are in love and destined to be together, so they literally cannot separate from one another. Like, her power
Yeah.
being able to teleport changes to, like, Moon's power being able to teleport changes to she can only teleport to Nice's side, to Nice the hero's side.
Yeah, and you see, and again, this is kind of again interesting concept, but think about the freaking implications. So what if I just ship two actors? Does
Yes.
this mean does this mean they can just stuck to each other now, even if they hate each other in real life? This
I
is the idea.
mean,
Maybe
according to
maybe
the
it's
show,
because I'm
yes.
overthinking. Yeah, so you see, I think this show is not for me because I'm overthinking this shit.
I mean,
I'm thinking
I
about all
kind of
the
love the
implications.
overthinking part of it, though, personally, like,
Yeah.
because it's such a wild concept. And I genuinely
Mhm.
believe it's not a concept we've seen before. And it's a concept that, like,
No, it's not.
I'm honestly, I would love to see that concept alone explored more, right? Like, that idea alone, I think, has a ton of potential if you're willing to, like, just deep dive into it personally
Be-
and just really
because
run
you
with
know
it.
something, you know what this reminded me of. You know the movie Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah. Uh,
This the idea of belief is
mhm.
kind of the same, right? That
Yeah.
if you believe, if the kids believe in a certain holiday icon, they can see them, right? It's kind of similar to that, but here it's not just but in that movie the spirits still exist to a degree. Like, you know, there's still a Santa Claus, there's still an Easter Bunny, there's still a Jack Frost. The kids just can't see them. But here it's just like, we don't believe in you anymore, and that's it. There's nothing. There's not. The person just flutters, poof, gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not
Is gone.
gone, but they do lose their powers.
They lose the for a superhero that might as well, you know.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
I and it's I'm a broken record. I'm sorry. You go.
No,
I'll
you're
shut up
fine.
for a second.
I again, I love that you I I think it's a good sign that the show got to you at least a little bit because you're very like you're sitting here like, well, what does this mean if this happens in this world? And what
You
about
see,
this
and
thing?
that's why I said from the beginning, I don't know what I think about this. I don't know how to approach it because I don't think I digested it. The entire time I'm just thinking about this concept, trying to make the pieces connect in my mind. And meanwhile, I'm seeing some pretty images. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that, but
Listen,
if you ask me
like
anything about character, or you know, character arcs or something, I think I'm lost because it just baffled me so much that
what
why I want to sit down with this show and ask it, why are you the way you are?
I honestly have another recommendation for you, and I think you would be
Hit me.
fascinated by it. So this is
Mhm.
made by I hope I pronounce his name right, Lee Howling. I believe that's how you
Okay.
pronounce it. Apologies if it's not, but this is the same creator by Link Click, and yes, this is kind of their mo. They're very big on these mindfuck shows. If you've
Oh.
not seen Link Click, you should go watch that too.
I'll write it down. I'll get back to you whenever we decide to do a podcast about it, I
But
suppose.
it is very much similar vein. As a matter of fact, I believe like you'll see references, like very like Easter egg references of for Link Click set within the show, and I think you'll see stuff for To Be Hero X set within Link Click, like just little references. Like, so this is an idea he's probably had for some time and wanted to just do a thing for, or
Which cool thing
they.
that he managed,
Yeah, no,
all
fair,
things
fair.
considered.
But yeah, like it. So I believe like kind of like mind fucky ideas like this are just this creator's mo and what they're known for at this point. So I'm very curious what they'll create in the future as well. But yes, so
So what
Blink
you're
Click. Go
saying?
check that out
Okay.
if you want more confusion.
On my list of backlogs, which is enormous. Thank you for asking. You know how you laugh. You know how many things came out this fucking month, and I
Oh
can't
yeah.
get to them.
I mean, Stranger Things started.
Yeah, Stranger Things started. Zootopia 2 is a thing. The
Yes.
Wicked is a thing.
Yeah.
There are so many fucking things out there. Media, stop for a second. God.
we need a we need we need another COVID.
No, 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 no. We don't
No.
need that. We
No.
don't. We don't.
Need a need
Okay. Based on public perception, Wolf now is COVID man. There you
mm,
go.
yeah, no. I mean, it's actually funny.
You see the concept. You see what I'm talking
Well,
about.
no,
You
because
see.
people would think, "Oh, wolf, he's an actual wolf." So it's just a talking dog on the screen. That's what it would be, right?
Trust me. A lot of people ask me, "What the fuck is he an actual wolf?" And I'm like, "Sure he is.
Literal
Sure."
talking dog. First one of my
Mm,
kind. But no,
yeah.
I love this concept for stupid shit very much like this because you can just sit down and be like, "What if though?" And again, I just
I
love
think
this.
honestly, there's a good chance, based on how I know you, and I want to believe that I know you after 9 years of this. You probably handpicked this because you knew I would have this reaction.
Yeah. I didn't know if you would, but I hoped you would.
Okay. Glad that I gave you what you wanted,
Mhm,
buddy.
mhm, 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 mhm. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. What can I say except
Again,
you're
it's
welcome?
funny. It's funny and it's enjoyable and
It's
I
fun.
love it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's all in good humor at the end of the day. And for the record, again, if you enjoy this show, more power to you. My ADHD made me hate hate the concept, I suppose, because I
That's
just
fair.
kept thinking about it.
That's fair. That is very
Oh my
fair.
god. Mhm.
My non
So
ADHD though made me love the concept.
mhm, probably. So yeah, but I will say, you know what? Let's talk about something that I like. The action sequences.
Oh
Holy shit,
man.
that's creative. That's so cool. The way they switch from CG to hand drawn. The hand drawn animation kind of looks a bit stiff in some cases, like
Hmm.
some of the in betweens are missing. But other than that, it looks
I
fantastic.
mean,
At least when I had no idea what's going on, but I enjoyed looking at it. I can tell you that
I think
much.
the first time you get one, right, is when you see Enlightener show up. I believe. I think that's the first time we get one where it's like where you see the switch between CG to like regular animate like hand animation and just like wow, it just blows you away. Or just like the big first big really big moment is when you see that punch from Nice on God Eye in episode 4, right? It's just like wow. It is just stunning to see that.
Yeah, agreed.
And just that changeover and the transition and how well it's done, it's just like beautiful. Absolutely
I
beautiful.
agree there. Like if I have to give all the props to something, the animation. It's definitely something that's not fully there, but this is the first of its kind, and I am excited. If anything, I'm excited to see what other studios can do with this. Like if somebody looked at this and say, okay, if this can work so that other stuff can run with it,
Mm,
give me more.
yeah,
That is cool.
very
That is
much would
such
agree.
a that, again, like I said, maybe I'm overthinking about the concept, but you know what? Even if I had no idea what's going on, I enjoyed looking at what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I also like that they don't seem to be necessarily being staying on model when it's 2D. Like limbs are stretching all over. I honestly I thought half of them were Luffy from One Piece at some point, but that's kind of cool to show the power and just the creative ways of fighting in this thing. Like so, it's not just looking good, but some of the fighting moves are cool. Like I haven't seen some of those things yet. That's and in a genre that's so all over the place these days, I have to commend that. That was really good.
Well, it like speaking to Nice again and like the first 4 episodes, right? Like you see him training to dance because he's supposed to be elegant, right? That's a part of his persona. So he dances when he fights almost, right? It's just like fun little stuff like that, and they do keep that within the animation to some degree also, even with the switch, until you see him switch to being from, because I mean, I guess we should talk about the story a little bit.
Yeah, you know
So
what?
we did
So
mention
this is on you.
we
I'm
did mention Nice dies in the first episode. Dude, just jumps off a building and
at
kills
least
himself.
y- yeah. So
So I
you do that. I'll try and maybe now when I'm not overthinking it, maybe listen to you. I'll understand what's going on.
and
Hit me.
so like we basically say, all right, Linling, this random dude who was up here when Nice died, you're now Nice. You don't get a choice in the matter. We need to make sure the public doesn't realize he just committed suicide, basically, for reasons that we don't really know the full extent of until later on. But
Basically, traditional superhero dies and somebody takes over the mental. Yeah,
yeah,
that's how it
which is fine,
works.
very
Yeah.
traditional. We've seen this before, but yeah, and does quite well with it. But then you see, we're introduced to Moon, supposedly Nice's girlfriend, who actually hates Nice and doesn't want to be with him, and Lin Ling helps her figure out a way to get away from that and fake her death. And it's it goes from there where Linling, still loves her. Like Linling also likes her, but it's just some weird shit going on there. I'm not going to go into heavy detail with all the story bits, but yeah. So Linling eventually is discovered that he's not nice by God Eye, a different, a villain who is there to expose him and this big secret. And during this process, we see, okay, Linling fighting against the idea that he's nice. So he loses his powers, but people start believing in Linling, the hero that he is. And so he gains them back and is able to beat God Eye. I am very, very much like breaking this down into its barest form. It's more
Of
enjoyable than
course,
what I am explaining, obviously.
of course, of course.
So, and that builds up the first 4 episodes, which is Nice slash the Commoner, aka Linling. The Commoner
Hmm.
being his superhero name, and that kind of builds him up. And then from there, at the end of the Commoner's story, you see him, because Moon was apparently, she forgot her teleport gun, so she was trapped on a deserted island. He comes to her using the teleport gun and is able to be like, hey, I'm here to give you this back, so you're not just trapped here. Things have happened. And all of a sudden, she is killed by another hero, E Soul. And that leads into the next arc of couple that leads into the next couple episodes, which is devoted to telling the story of E Soul. And that's kind of how this entire season goes. It goes from, hey, we're going to cover this character, to, okay, we introduce the next character we're going to cover at the very end of those set of episodes, generally speaking. Not always, but generally speaking.
Hmm. Can you tell this show is confusing people because Wolf broke it down very easily, and I'm still right. The first
Well,
4 episodes basically have
I
nothing
broke
to
it
do
down
with
easily.
Esau's backstory. What?
No, they don't. But the next 3 episodes that are after those 4 do have to do with Isol's backstory.
Okay, great. Then why didn't we start with Esau's backstory and make the show about him? Then that's another.
Well,
Here's a
that's
question
why
for you.
I personally like the show, because again, it's very character driven. There is no overarching story until about the second half. That's when you start getting into the story the show fully wants to cover.
Yeah.
The first, I'd say, half of the show is about showing you, okay, here's the different characters we're going to cover. Here's the essentially top 10 heroes. And this is their stories and kind of where they are and where they've come from, leading up to the main story of the show.
And
So
this is something that you tell me if I'm just a curmudgeon, but wouldn't it make more sense if, let's say, all the how three episodes of Diesel's backstory, why not just make it a B plot in another episode to make it a bit more freeform? Because I understand that it's more character driven than story driven. By all means, do it, but it's also kind of confusing because I'm getting 4 episodes. Okay, let's assume I got that. Then I'm getting a completely new backstory as if I just turned on another show. And then we're back to where we started. Is this Kingdom Hearts? Did Nomura mentor this person? What?
I mean, maybe I don't know. Could have. Maybe they're a fan.
Maybe?
Tell me you wouldn't enjoy a Kingdom Hearts show.
I mean, depends on who's making it.
I mean,
Because
fair.
there's potential for it. Let's not lie to ourselves. But if
No,
Nomura is
but
writing it, I'm fucking out. That's what...
fair also. Yeah, but would be. I mean,
You know
to be
something.
fair, you
You
say
know
you're
something.
out,
Better.
but you would watch it. Not because you're gonna like it, because you want to because you'd be fascinated about what would he do
You know
with a
something. I was just
show.
about to. I'm saying this, but then I just realized that a superhero thing, another superhero thing. What can you do? But I just realized that the Supergirl movie that's coming out in June of next year. I'm really looking forward to it because I love the comic it's based on. But then I looked and I saw that the guy who directed Cruella is directing it, and it's like, oh no. but
Listen,
but
maybe it will be good.
to be fair, there's no chance in hell they would involve a Dalmatian killing someone's mom. I am aware of that,
I
and that
mean,
it
you
probably wasn't the
hope.
director's fault. But you know, it's one of those things that you tell me you would watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I would watch it wholeheartedly. But some names attached are going to make me raise an eyebrow. That's all
Oh,
I'm gonna
100%.
say.
100%. And that's fair. Absolutely fair, right? Like,
Regardless
would
of that,
not
I'm
blame
so
you.
hyped for that movie. But yeah. Anywho, back to what was even the point? You see, what was the point of all of this? We're talking about this show, then we are tangenting, and then yeah, what? There's no point. We had 4 episodes of something, then we get 3 episodes which have nothing to do with anything, and it's about a new character, and then somewhat
So,
it's connected again, and then there's the Hatsune Miku is just 1 episode for the record, and
oh,
then
no, she's 3. She gets 3.
she gets three?
Yeah, she
So
gets
I'm
3.
confusing it with something else, probably.
She gets 3 now,
Because I.
like mm, like yeah, I would
The
say she
point of the
gets
matter, the point of the fucking matter, it jumps around so much, and then by the second half, like you said, it's only. So we do have a story.
yes.
Wait, what?
Listen, I mean, let's be real. Like, we've not even gotten into the story portion yet, and that's even more wild.
We're in the spoilers section. Technically, you tried explaining this to me.
Listen,
I'm losing it.
I mean, let's be real.
I
You
don't
do
know.
so. Just to be clear, you did get the part that there are aliens involved in the story portion, yeah?
Oh yeah, because it's not a superhero thing if there are no aliens, right?
I
You
mean, this is
can't.
true. You can't. This is true. But I just want to
But
point out, we go from uh, the idea of this trust value determining a hero, and the higher your trust value, the stronger you are, and that helps determine your powers and some things you can or can't do physically, right? And then we go to, hey, there's aliens involved now, and these aliens apparently negate all of that because reasons.
yeah.
We don't know why yet. Maybe that'll be explained, but that's just a thing that happens. We also go into the fact that apparently, we've had, and I will say, I would say the underlying story that you get,
Mm,
especially from Lucky Science 3 episode arc moving forward, is the idea of fear. And
mhm.
fear being its own power within this world as well, and it giving people powers as well. You're introduced to it in the first 4 episodes, obviously, with Nice also, but it definitely starts to play more of a role from, I would say, Lucky Science bit onwards, right?
Mhm. Yes.
But I do want to go briefly back to Isol just for a moment to say, fuck Yang Chen. All my homies hate Yang Chen. And everybody who watched the Esau arc will know why.
I watched it. I can assure you, I don't care because I didn't
You're
understand what
just
was going on.
wrong,
But sure,
wrong, wrong,
whoever it is, I'm joining you in your hate campaign. Sure, let's
wrong.
go with that.
Gonna have to make HC rewatch this show now, and me just sitting there with him.
I
HC just
might
turns to
have
me.
to.
So what does this mean? And Wolf sits there and explains.
You know something? I might actually have to try and rewatch this when I'm not so focused on the backstory, which I might want to do when because you said there's a season 2 coming.
There
So,
is.
oh boy, the journey's not over. I'll have
It's not.
to do this properly.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So keep going. Keep
Oh god,
going.
where am
I
I even
I.
at? We're jumping around so much with this one. I love it though.
Mhm.
This is not our review, ladies and gentlemen. This is just like we're here to chat
This
shit,
this is
basically.
rambling. This is Outcast rambling. We're not really reviewing the thing. We're just though to be fair, like we said, we are not. We never really go into these things with the manner of keeping it a professional review. We're just two
No,
idiots talking about something. So we're trying to have fun here. That's the point. That's the basic gist.
I. So I guess getting into the story proper, right? The story proper is basically I would say setting up for this big supposed quote unquote tournament that's happening. And the idea is you're getting to meet these 10 characters, and these would be basically the people that are participating in this tournament. And it's setting up the the tournament, all these different characters are going to be within it, and different elements that may play a role within this. The idea of fear and how that can infect people and change them into basically
Hmm.
monsters.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how. Don't ask me what's going on there. Don't really know. And maybe we'll find out more about that, but so far we haven't. It also sets up the idea of this little alien thing that is called Big Johnny. That is little Johnny's baby.
Hmm.
It's not his baby, but that's just what he calls it.
Yep.
Before anyone gets any ideas, there's an entire thing. It's basically just a pet. It's an alien. Don't ask. Uh, and it can apparently nullify all of these things. But and then we get into, and this is where I think this is where I personally would disagree with you. I don't think this premise is super thought out. We get into, you mentioned earlier, the Messiah character,
Hmm.
Messiah idea.
I didn't mention the specific Messiah. I said that the superheroes act more like messiahs,
Yeah,
but
but
okay.
we have one in this world. Literally, their name is Zero. Apparently, they were like the first hero, and they became trusted by everyone, becoming like a literal god. And apparently, they were
Right, right.
killed by Esau, original Esau, before we got Yang Chen, who became Esau. And so that's why within the story, that one guy who was the CEO behind New Esau wanted old Esau dead because he killed his hero, his guy.
So Tetsuya Nomura and Hideo Kojima got high off their ass one day. They jizzed into the same toilet, and out came the person who created this.
You say that like you didn't like it though. You had some
I don't
fun here.
know. Do I like it? Do
You
I
had
not
some
like
fun
it?
here. You had some fun here.
Tell me it's not accurate.
I'm
Tell
not saying you're
me it's
wrong.
doesn't.
I'm just saying,
It's not
you
something.
had some fun
It
here.
yeah. This this is insanity, and not necessarily in the good
It's
kind that I
no,
enjoy.
you're wrong. It
Or
is
maybe I
good. It is good insanity. I love this.
is it good?
Yes, it
Is
is
it? I don't
100%
know
good.
anymore.
I love this.
If I to quote a YouTuber I like, even as a Sonic fan, I find this fucking weird.
I don't, but I'm not a Sonic fan.
My God. It's definitely interesting. I'll tell you that for free. It's an interesting topic for conversation. We can go with that.
This culminates, right? in the end of the
Yeah.
season, where we learn that X, this guy who's basically become the who's won the past couple of tournaments, right? And he's gaining too much trust value. They're worried he might become like Zero back in the day and become a god, quote unquote.
By the way, X and Zero. There's also Mega Man X in this fucking thing. Thanks for
Mm-hmm.
confusing me more.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
keep going.
And so X is being hunted by the Hero Association. They are unable to bring him down, and so we culminate in him arriving and revealing his true identity to everyone at the competition. And that's where the season ends. But oh, Nice is back alive.
Yay! I guess.
Now, I do want to explain something to you. When
Please.
you watched this, did the Nice reveal that he's actually back to life, but he has all these scars on him? Did that kind of like, what the fuck? You're probably already what the fuck, but
Listen,
was that just
by I think it's good that by this point, what the fuck was everything that I was saying? Like, if even if my parents came in and asked me how I am, I would go, "What the fuck?" That I was in a mindset. Okay, I was in a mindset about this show. So when he came to, I'm like, sure. At this point, you
so I
know
want
what?
to
It's a superhero story. Might as well.
I
Let's
want to reveal
go.
something interesting to you that I think, again, I find fascinating as a concept. In China, there was a competition going the entire time during the show's runtime, right?
Yeah.
And it was, hey, as you're watching this, you get to decide, who's your favorite hero, vote for your favorite hero. And apparently, the top 10 who won out of all the characters we saw would be in the who would appear at the final, like in that episode 24 at the tournament, basically, right?
Hmm, okay. Cool.
And that's why Nice is there. Nice beat out Esol. Nice won and
Huh.
got to the top 10. So that's why Nice is
So
back alive.
So now, do you know about the Batman Jason Todd story?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Because apparently I can't. I think from what I've read, back in the day, the idea of killing Robin, Jason Todd, was basically that they let the audience decide if he should be kept alive or if they should kill him off, and people actually voted to kill him off because
Mm,
nobody liked him. So
yeah.
kind of reminds me of that. And to be fair, that's pretty like it's interesting that to know that you know what, because they were like, oh, we really like Nice, then why not, let's bring him back from that. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool that you can still do something like this in today's day and age.
And
I
so
More
far, it
people should do
seems
this.
to work, yeah. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's, again, a great little meta commentary on this idea of the fans and what they believe, right?
Mhm.
Because now you have to ask the question as well, like,
No, no,
see,
because no, let's not get into this because now it brings the question of if I say I wish this motherfucker would die, would it actually kill him? It's Death Note now.
I mean, I don't know about death, but it was able to bring someone back to life, potentially, apparently, maybe.
Yeah, but you know, if you can bring someone to life, it's like, oh my god, I wish he came back, and then he comes back. It probably means you can say, I wish this fucker would die, and then yeah,
I mean,
it's
it can't just be one
this
person. It has to be
show.
a lot of people. Let's be clear, right?
I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought about someone. I wish this asshole wouldn't be alive anymore. Like, look at it's the internet. Of
I
course,
mean,
there's
this is
gonna be
true.
something like
This is absolutely true. But I mean, there are plenty of people who to give a good example, not a bad one, who wish Robin Williams was probably still alive. In this
that. Oh,
world, you might be
definitely.
able to bring him back to life.
Oh my God. Oh, you know, think about all the like Robin Williams, Stan Lee, all of these other bits. Like,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
wouldn't also be kind of like, how would they be brought back? Are they gonna just be brought back as they were, or are they going to be like, you know, zombified or something?
I love
Because
how I got you into
if
this
it's the
again.
and I can't help it when you bring up something like this.
I
You
love
need
it
to
though.
understand that there are going to be consequences.
I love it though. I love it.
Uh,
I knew
Wolf is one of the.
that's why I was waiting for that moment, because I knew I was going to bring that up. That's why I
Oh,
hoped you'd have this reaction to it personally, because I knew I
yeah.
was going to bring that up and you probably didn't know about it, and I was going to love bringing this up to you.
It's not that I didn't know about it. Obviously, again, like I said, superheroes coming back to life. Like if let's not even do the stupid. If I had a nickel, because we would be fucking rich about for every
Oh yeah,
times a
I
superhero
think
died and was
Spider-Man
brought
alone's
back.
been brought back enough to make you rich.
How many? Let's not even try. Okay, there are too many in too many versions. We are not fucking doing this.
But
but
in this world, it's just
but but
fascinating.
you see, yeah, it's fascinating here because it just seems like it's not even a matter of science or that someone escaped the coffin or that there's a way to do it. No, it's just people just decided. People decided this person needs to come back. It's like, okay.
I think, and this is something potentially
Can you
worth talking
imagine if
about.
fucking Hamilton was in this universe? Perhaps the world was wide enough for Hamilton and then he comes back and it's like, oh shit. That, something, I would watch that. That would be
See, now you're
amazing.
in. Now you're in. Now you're in. Now you're
Yeah.
in. Concept's
Make this
good
a
now.
musical. Make it a musical about the founding fathers, like everything. And yes,
And
I
yet
would
now
be.
you're in. Well, I think it does present a potential interesting conversation in terms of, at least for us, for me and you right here.
Yeah.
I would say this. I would say that you're more interested in potentially a more grounded superhero story, right?
Maybe not
Where,
grounded because again, I
well,
dig the concept.
well,
It's
I
just,
would say like you can easily define things, right? And that's what I mean by grounded here. In this world, there's no real easy way to define things and how they work
and I
because of the
think,
concept.
and
It's more
but you see,
fantasy
that's
in
kind of
nature than
thing.
anything, really.
You're right here, but I think I'm also going to. I'm maybe not necessarily maybe grounded or isn't the right word, but I think you created a world, right?
Hmm.
I I am going to ask you how that world works if I need to follow a story set in this world because if I
Hmm.
don't know how the world works, the story then I don't know what kind of story I'm seeing here because let's take what's a good example. I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot of it, but let's take My Hero Academia. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so essentially, from what I know, right, isn't it just like that? You go to a school in order to become a hero or
Well,
something?
you're born with quirks in that world.
Yeah, you're born with cocks and everything, but you're going to a school in order to learn. It kind of like the X
Yes.
Men to a
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah. You're going. Yeah. You're born with a quirk. Your quirk's strong enough, whatever it is, and so you learn how to control it and better handle it, so you can become a hero. And in order to do that, you have to go to school. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you can say it's kind of like the X Men to a degree,
Yeah.
but you see, that's something that's like okay, you get your quirk and then you go to a school to learn how to use it for the betterment of humanity. Okay, fine. You see, this is something that you can also nitpick this concept to hell and back. And I assume people have,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of jokes about it, but it's clear cut enough that I'm like, okay, so my main character has a quirk and he's going to a school to learn how to use it, and then I kind of follow. There's also there's probably school drama and superhero drama. I can follow that. That's cool. Here you basically just tell me the superhero is determined by the public, and I'm like, well, what counts as the public? There's no way that the entire public thinks the exact same thing about this one person. How is it determined? Is it by majority? Is it by the first person who says anything? How are the powers determined? How is everything? You see, it's such a wide thing that that's just can go in so many different directions, and the show doesn't really decide on a direction. So yeah, you can probably say grounded because I just think it's underdeveloped because because the concept is just not fully realized in terms of what it actually means.
And I agree with you. I think that's fair. Again, I would say that's probably one of my bigger criticisms of the show that I walk away from it with is that, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's probably not as popular as it could be. That there's that there is this very fascinating idea here that just isn't as explored as it fully as it could be. Now, granted, would that have made for as interesting of a show? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I can't say. We didn't get that show. We got this. What I can say is I would love to explore that concept further, right?
Mhm. And who knows? Maybe season two would be what I'm looking for. Maybe
Maybe.
season two would actually put things in perspective and be like, here's how it actually works. And if they do that, then you know what? I'm willing to give it a shot. Or if somebody else that decides to pick up the mental with this and go with it, I'm like, okay, let's do this, sure. But right now, I'm just left. I want to like you, but I can't because you confuse the hell out of me.
That's fair. For me personally, I enjoy it. I'm not confused by it. I'm just very much like, I wish this was explored more, but I understand enough to get it. Let's move forward. All right, cool enough. And I just love everything that it's doing, even if it's very weird at times with what it's doing. I still love it. It's great.
And that's fair. That's perfectly fair. So, anything else to say on the matter?
No, this was exactly what I hoped this episode would be, personally.
So, a mind fuck, in other words.
Mostly just you going, wait, but if it means this, then can't it also mean this? And me going, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's possible.
uh, so, essentially, I'm just asking questions, and you're basically kind of.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, so I guess with that said, that's all for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on To Be Hero X? And has it also broken your brain? I want to feel less alone in the world, please. But
No, 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 no.
but and well, regardless of what you think, you can tell us all about it in the comment section below on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team, and on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C. Until the next episode, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye bye.